Alright, so real talk, I love plants, but I also forget to water them a lot. If you're the same way, this video's for you. These are the kind of plants that don't get mad when you ignore them for a few days, or even a week. You've killed a cactus before. Yeah, that happened. So trust me when I say, these are the easiest houseplants to keep alive. I'll show you 13 low-maintenance indoor plants that are super chill and actually look great in any space. And, yeah, I'll throw in some simple care tips too, nothing fancy, just the stuff I wish I knew when I started. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, let's kick it off with probably the MVP of low-maintenance plants, the snake plant. This thing's basically indestructible. I'm not even kidding, I've forgotten to water it for like 2 weeks, and it just kept thriving. It doesn't need much light either, so you can stick it in a corner and it'll still do its thing. And the best part? It actually helps clean the air, so while it's sitting there looking cool, it's kind of like working behind the scenes. I've got one in my bedroom, one in the bathroom, even one near the front door. It just fits anywhere. If you're new to plants or just forgetful like me, this one's a no-brainer. Just don't overwater it, that's the one thing it doesn't like. Think of it like a cactus's chill cousin that's down for whatever. Honestly, this is one of those plants that makes you feel like you're good at this, even if you're totally winging it. Next up is the Jade Tree. This little guy's basically the definition of low effort, high reward. It's technically a succulent, so it stores water in those thick, fleshy leaves, which means you don't need to water it all the time, honestly. Less is more. I water mine like maybe once every 2 weeks, and it's totally happy. It loves sunlight, so if you've got a bright window, that's the sweet spot. And over time, it starts to look like this mini bonsai-style tree, which is kinda awesome. Super slow grower too, so you're not gonna wake up one day and have a jungle situation on your hands. Just give it a little love now, and then wipe the dust off the leaves. Check the soil. That's it. Oh, and don't stress if a leaf or two drops, that's normal. It's kind of a drama-free plant, which I respect. If you're the type who forgets about your plants until you're like, oh shoot, I have plants, this one's got your back. Alright, plant number 3, the ZZ plant. If there was an award for the most chill, impossible to kill plant, this one's taking it. I swear, you could forget it exists for a month, and it'll still look brand new. It's got these super glossy dark green leaves that make it look fakey in a good way. People always ask me if it's plastic. It's not. It doesn't need much light, so it's perfect for those darker corners where nothing else wants to live. And water? Maybe once every couple weeks, tops. It actually prefers if you leave it alone. Overwatering is pretty much the only way to mess it up. I've got mine on a shelf in my office where I barely look at it, and it just keeps doing its thing. It doesn't grow fast, doesn't need trimming, and honestly, it kind of makes you feel like you know what you're doing, even when you absolutely don't. Solid pick if you want something low effort, but still kinda classy. Coming in at number 4 is Aloe Vera, the same plant that helps with sunburns and weird kitchen burns. It's super low maintenance and honestly pretty handy to have around. You water it like once every 2 to 3 weeks, and that's about it. Just make sure the pot has good drainage, because soggy roots are a no-go. It loves bright, indirect sunlight, so a sunny windowsill is ideal. Mine chills in the kitchen, and every now and then I'll break off a leaf if I get a little burn instant relief. Super convenient. The leaves are thick and juicy because it stores water, so even if you forget about it, it's not going to freak out. Plus, it kind of has that cool desert vibe going on, which I dig. It does grow pups too, like baby aloeso. You can propagate and give them away, or just collect them like a plant hoarder. Either way, aloe's a no-fuss, multi-purpose plant that looks good and actually does something useful, which is rare. Alright, number 5, living stones, or lithops if you want to get fancy. These things are wild. They literally look like little pebbles just chilling in the pot, and half the time people don't even realize they're plants. Super low maintenance, like almost zero. You barely water them seriously, once a month or even less, especially in winter. They're used to dry conditions, so too much water is actually what kills them. They love bright light, so a sunny spot is perfect, but make sure they're not baking in direct sun all day. What's cool is they sort of split and grow new leaves from the center, which looks weird, but awesome. You won't see much action fast, but that's part of the charm. They're slow, chill, and a little mysterious. If you're into something different that doesn't ask for much, these guys are it. Plus, they're conversation starters if everyone asks what they are. Number 6 is the cast iron plant, and the name kinda says it's tough as nails. You could stick this thing in a dark corner, forget to water it for a while, and it'll still just keep going like nothing happened. It's not flashy, but it's got these deep green leaves that look clean and classic, and it honestly brings some calm to a space. I've had mine in a low-light hallway for months, and it barely flinched. Watering? Maybe every couple of weeks. Just don't drown it. This plant likes to dry out a bit between drinks. It's not dramatic, doesn't need pruning, doesn't care if you're busy or on vacation. It's one of those plants that just shows up, does its job, and never complains. Definitely one of my go-tos if someone says they have bad luck with plants. You'd seriously have to try to kill it, and even then, good luck. Number 7 is the Ponytail Palm. And yeah, it's not actually a palm, but it looks super cool, so we let it slide. It's got this thick bulb at the base that stores water, so you barely need to touch it. I water mine maybe every 3 weeks, sometimes even longer, and it's totally fine. It loves bright light, but can handle lower light toots. Not picky. The long, curly leaves give it kind of a fun, wild hair vibe, which makes it a solid statement plant without being high maintenance. I've moved mine around the house a bunch of times, and it's never thrown a fit, which I appreciate. Just make sure it's in a pot with good drainage, and don't get tempted to overwater it. That's where people mess up. Other than that, it's super chill and basically takes care of itself. If you want something that stands out but doesn't act dramatic, this is the one. Number 8 is String of Pearls, and if you like plants with a little personality, this one's pretty cool. It's got these tiny round leaves that actually look like little green beads hanging off long stems, which makes it perfect for a hanging pot or a shelf where it can spill over. It's a succulent, so it doesn't need a ton of water maybe once every couple weeks, and it likes bright indirect light. Too much direct sun can scorch it, so keep that in mind. I'll admit, it's a bit more delicate than some of the others on this list, but if you remember to give it some space and not drown it, it'll reward you with those cool cascading strands. It's one of those plants that looks fancy, but really isn't that high maintenance once you get the hang of it. Plus, it's a great conversation starter when friends notice those little pearls. Number 9 is Echeveria, and if you're into those classic rosette-shaped succulents that look like little flowers, this is your plant. It's super low maintenance, just give it bright light and water it maybe once every 2 weeks, letting the soil dry out completely between. I love how it adds a pop of color and texture without demanding much attention. It's perfect for a sunny windowsill or even a desk where it can soak up some rays. Sometimes the leaves get a little dusty, so I just wipe them off now and then, but other than that, it pretty much takes care of itself. It's slow growing, so no crazy trimming or upkeep, which is nice if you don't want a jungle situation. Plus, it's pretty forgiving if you forget to water it once in a while, which is always a win in my book. Number 10 is Burro's tail, and this one's got these crazy long trailing stems covered in plump little leaves that look like tiny green sausages kind of funny, but also super charming. It's a succulent, so it's really forgiving if you forget to water it. Just once every couple weeks is plenty, and make sure it's in a spot with bright, indirect light so it doesn't get sunburned. I keep mine on a shelf where it can hang down, and it always adds a cool vibe to the room. Heads up, though, those little leaves can be pretty fragile and fall off if you touch it too much, so it's more of a look but don't touch kind of plant. Aside from that, it's pretty much hassle-free and a great pick if you want something a little different that still behaves itself. Number 11 is Haworthia, and honestly, this little guy is one of my favorites because it's just so simple and tough. It's a small succulent with these spiky but soft leaves that almost look like they have little windows on them, kind of cool and unique. It doesn't need much light, so it's perfect for spots that don't get full sun, and watering, maybe once every 2 weeks, letting the soil dry out completely in between. I keep mine on my desk, and it never complains, which is great when I'm busy and forget about plants. It's compact, so it fits anywhere and adds a bit of greenery without taking up much space. Plus, it's pretty low-key, no fancy tricks or special care, just a solid little plant that's easy to love. Number 12 is the corn plant, and this one's a classic for good reason. It's super easy to care for, and adds some serious height and drama to any room. It's got those long, glossy leaves that kind of fan out, and make your space feel a little more tropical without feeling like a jungle. I water mine about once every week or two, depending on how dry the soil feels, and it's pretty forgiving if you miss a watering here and there. It prefers bright, indirect light, but can handle lower light too, which makes it great for spots that aren't exactly sun-soaked. Plus, it grows fairly fast compared to some other indoor plants, so you actually notice it getting bigger over time, which is always satisfying. If you want a low-maintenance plant that looks a bit fancy and fills up a corner nicely, this one's a solid bet. Last but not least, number 13 is Cacti, the classic desert tough guys. They're basically the ultimate low-maintenance plants because they need barely any water, like once a month tops, and they thrive in bright light, so a sunny windowsill is perfect. I've got a couple scattered around my place, and honestly, they just sit there looking cool without any drama. Just don't overwater them. That's the number one mistake people make. They come in all shapes and sizes, so whether you want a tiny one for your desk or a big statement piece for the floor, there's a cactus for you. Plus, they add a bit of that rugged, outdoorsy vibe inside your home. If you want a plant that's basically foolproof and looks great, you can't go wrong with a cactus. Alright, that's a wrap on the top 13 low-maintenance indoor plants you can actually keep alive without stress. If you're new to plants or just want something chill that adds life to your space, any of these will do the trick. Drop a comment if you've got a favorite or want tips on any of these, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more easy plant care. Catch you next time.